mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they're very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. It's been a little bit since Sunday Night Football, but there was key debates about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and a man that has been was a Justin Fields believer during his draft year, and still had some hope. Austin.
Yeah, this is tough for me because they were still winning games with Justin Fields in. Their offense did look better with Russ. We'll have to see whether that's just because the Jets post Robert Saleh or whatever, but I do think that the team looked really good against the Jets. They scored 37 points. The offense, after the first half, really turned it on, and I'm excited to see what Russ can do the rest of the season.
Yeah, this has a lot of questions or has a lot of implications, given if Russ keeps playing well. Then you can talk about Sean Payton, but Sean Payton is also thriving with his team, even though their offense hasn't looked great, but there's a rookie quarterback and there's a learning curve. I'm kind of under the impression, and just like if I were ever in control of the team, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. And I would say the Steelers weren't broke. They were 4-2 with Justin Fields, and I just would have kept that going. And then, of course, if you get a loss and the offense looks pretty bad, then I would have made a change. But it's pretty hard to argue for Justin Fields to remain the starter when Mike Tomlin made the decision to start Russell Wilson. And I will agree, it looked rough in the first half. I was laughing at some of or I'd have like a slight chuckle with Russell Wilson throwing, because there was one where it was just a completely bad pass and it was a side pass. And I was laughing. But to me, during that Jets game, and they were dealing with cornerback issues, but it's something we'll have to monitor. It really looked like he opened up the pass game for Pittsburgh, and George Pickens was getting involved in the offense more.
I think George Pickens gets involved a lot with Fields as well. At least he gets yardage or potential yardage. I know that some of them have been taken away. Also, I think Fields faced harder defenses, but I think what really is opened up by Russ is every other receiver. George Pickens is always going to get targets from Fields just because they're drawn up. Hey, throw the ball to Pickens here. But Van Jefferson getting a receiving touchdown. Some of these other guys getting more receptions, I think is what really Russ opens it up. If we remember his time in Seattle, he liked using a lot of different receivers at one time. And I think that's really the notion of a good offense. A good offense can have – it doesn't have to be 2 wide receivers, but a wide receiver and a tight end with Pat Freiermuth as well. So I think it opens up the offense. And while Russ is not the scrambler he used to be, he definitely is better in the pocket than Fields. But Fields can obviously run the ball. So do you think they're going to take this as a game-by-game basis, or is this more Russ is the starter – he'd have to get hurt or play horrible to be taken out?
I am thinking maybe more of a game-by-game basis, because given the quote from Tomlin was, I'm not trying to win games, I'm trying to win a championship. It looks like he wants to see Russell Wilson and Justin Fields play. So it's almost – I'm trying to think.
He's experimenting.
He's experimenting. And to me, we don't really see that in the NFL because the games matter so much.
But Tomlin's such a good head coach that he can win games while experimenting. I completely agree with him. I'm a big fan of experimenting with everything you have, because At the end of the day, you are trying to win a championship. Their defense is good enough to do that. They just have to find the right guys on offense to score enough points and get them wins. But I think I agree with you. It's going to be game by game. I do think Russ would have to play bad to lose it, I feel like, because Russ played so well against the Jets.
Yeah, and I think I agree. Russ would have to play bad. And to me, it's harder to talk about the age because Russ has been in the league for a while and his attitude seems to be doing better, or Tomlin's doing a better job of handling it than Sean Payton was. I would say it's easier for Russell Wilson to come in off the bench than I would say Fields because of just Fields' age. As a quarterback, he's still figuring everything out and just the confidence level. To me, Russ is always going to have confidence. To me, it's a little bit more fragile with Fields, even though he still will be confident. But if he's benched during a game, it's going to be hard to go back to him and for him to keep playing the same way. I don't think you have that problem with Russ.
That's true. The experience of Russ will shine through over Fields every time. I just don't. The explosiveness that Fields can show is there. It's just the negatives that are larger with Fields.
Yeah, and it seems to me, and this is one game, and the game I really watched was the Cowboys-Steelers game, where I saw the Steelers, where it was just an ugly game throughout. It looked like in the Steelers game, there were more explosive plays, but it wasn't because of Russ. Like there were some big runs by Najee. There were key pass plays, but it was more other players were making plays. And I'm curious to see if that continues because you don't need a lights out offense. I would say you just need a capable offense with this Steelers defense. Something
you should win.
Yeah.
This is a defense that's good enough to hold the other team under 20 or less, right? So scoring 21, scoring 3 touchdowns, 24 points, 21 points, I think is enough to win the majority of games. We're just going to have to see. I do think it's way too early to tell right now. I do feel like the one game of Russ can really paint it a certain way, but we're going to have to see how he faces not just this week against the Giants, but in the future against other opponents.
Yeah, for the Giants, they're not a great defensive team. So if they really want to show that they're a capable offense, they should light it up. However, if you look at November 10th, then November 17th, and November 21st, you have some incredible defense. You have the Commanders, you have the Ravens, and then the Browns after this Giants game. So that's going to be a big test for the Steelers offense because I view them in the similar vein to the Chiefs. Just team-wise, not with the Chiefs' reputation, but the Chiefs have a great defense, and that's leading them. Their offense is just doing enough. And to me, I would say Mike Tomlin's like, I want to do that.
Yes, that's the blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great way of saying it. So that concludes all we got. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening, and we will keep you updated on this Russ situation and then all other NFL storylines. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.